All right, you guys, we're back. We're going back to Pakistan here. Vikas and me, we've been here for years, but it's been about 8 months because I've been almost exclusive to Palestine and the Gaza war for the past year or so. But we did talk once, Vikas. We did talk once about 8 months ago. I was just looking at my records just after the election.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much the point where if people want to go back, if they can dig all the way in the archive and find that video, it's called Pakistan Elections Rigging Failure,
Hmm.
where you went over the evidence of rigging
It's still
Feb
ongoing.
the
Yeah.
February election, um, the February 2024 election. So yeah, I mean, basically, I know about a protest. I know there's some kind of constitutional amendment. Imran Khan is still in jail. Uh, so I don't know. Help, can you catch us up? Catch us up.
Okay, yes, let's give the previous season's recap.
Yes,
What
thank
has been
you.
happening since then? So basically, Pakistan had an election in February of this year. And the military tried really hard to rig those elections. They had already put Imran Khan in jail. They had a chief justice, the chief justice of Pakistan. He was with them. He took away the PTI. PTI is Imran Khan's party. He took away their election symbol, which meant that all the candidates who were supposed to run under PTI did not have a party anymore, and that meant they all ran as independents. They all had different symbols. So like you go to vote in Pakistan, you put a stamp on a symbol because a lot of people are illiterate. They can't read the name of the candidate, so you have an election symbol assigned to you. And it's easier to vote for a party because there's a party symbol. PTI did not have a party symbol. They were all independents. But it's like such an amazing thing that Pakistani people have done. Like these past 2 years, if you really want to like read about like resistance to a fascist regime, you should read what Pakistani people have done. It is so amazing. So they defeated the military junta in the elections. PTI have won like a majority of the seats. So after elections, they started rigging, they started changing the forms, they went to the court and like they stopped PTI members from contesting the results that were obviously rigged, that were mathematically rigged. You can like Google stuff about like mathematical analysis of the Pakistani elections. They were so obviously rigged. They're like election forms that are obviously changed. You when you cut out a zero and turn it into a nine, it's childish. It's like a 4-year-old would do such a thing to fool their parents. So they did all of these things. And then they finally gave the majority to PMLN, the military's favorite party, and PPP. Both of them they gave the majority to. After that, they do have the Chief Justice of Pakistan in their pocket, but they don't have all the other justices, the Supreme Court justices. So they started in like calling for investigation into these elections. And the government got really worried because once the elections start opening, once they start investigating them, they will lose their majority, and the majority would go to PTI. And that is an existential threat to the military and the military backed parties. So, to like during this time, they were doing all sorts of weird things. They had installed secret cameras in the bedrooms of judges. They were recording all of their conversations. Some of these secret cameras got discovered. The judges got really angry. They complained to the chief justice. The chief justice, who is with the military, did nothing, and this has been going on for a while. But the government realized that since like all of the judges are not in their pocket, they're not playing ball with them, they have to do something else because they're on a very flimsy ground. As soon as elections are investigated, they lose all their power. So they brought in this constitutional amendment, which is currently ongoing. So the constitutional amendment in Pakistan, you have to have a 2/3 majority in both the upper house and the lower house of the parliament, and they don't have the 2/3 majority. Uh, and the constitutional amendment that they want to pass, they will that's basically Netanyahu's constitutional changes that made a new court In Israel, it's very similar to that. So they want to make a new court in Pakistan that is on top of the Supreme Court, that's Supremer Court. It is they're calling it the Constitutional Court. So they want a new constitutional court, and they want the power, like the president, to assign any member to the constitutional court. So they want the judiciary to be under the executive. Pakistani constitution was really like it has some good things, which is the judiciary is independent from the executive, but they want a new court that would be under the executive, and they wanted to assign this Chief Justice Qazi Faiz Isa, who is actually due to retire in 7 or 8 days. 25th of October, he's supposed to retire. So before he retires, they want to create a new constitutional court, assign this guy to this court before he retires, so that he stays in power, and he keeps on helping them throughout this fascism, to keeping power without democracy, this martial law basically that Pakistan has, that with a facade of democracy. And this is now currently ongoing. So since they don't have 2/3 majority, if you look at the news coming out from Pakistan for the past 2-3 days, they need to get this 2/3 majority. And to get this 2/3 majority, they have done a very interesting use and very interesting tactic that even Israel doesn't use. That is abducting women from their houses, wives, sisters, daughters, mothers of these senators, their children. They just abduct them, take them away, and try to pressurize these people into voting for them. So this has been going on for the past few days. The Pakistan's former foreign minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, his daughter-in-law, his son's wife, was kidnapped 2 days ago. And she was finally recovered. They sent her home because she was a very high-profile woman. And there was like everyone was speaking out about it. But there are other women who have been in jail for a while, who have been denied bail, who are constantly pressurized. There are children who have been abducted, like 15, 16-year-olds have been abducted, and these people have been threatened. This is how Pakistan is going to change its constitution, and to change it in a way that will completely alter, disfigure the Pakistani constitution. It will not stay democratic anymore. It would be like Saddam Hussein's constitution.
So it seems totally ad hoc. Like they're having a problem with the Supreme Court, so they're going to change the Supreme Court. If they have a problem with PTI, they ban PTI. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's not some structural problem. It's just like whatever's in their way, they'll just change the law accordingly.
Yeah, we have a saying in Pakistan, these about the military people. When they encounter a door, they kick a door. And
Yeah.
that this is what they're doing. This is military mentality. Whenever they encounter a door, they try to kick it. There's a funny video on like YouTube where like a military guy is kicking a door, and another guy just opens it because it was always open. That's how
Yeah.
Pakistani military deals with things.
And so I'm just looking at the news now. It's Bilal al Zardari.
Yeah, Bilawal, Benazir's son, he today said that if I'm not allowed to change the constitution in the normal way, I'll have to resort to some gangster stuff. I don't know what that means. They're already abducting these women and these children. I don't know what else they can do. Are
He
they
says
going to
brute.
start?
The translation is brute majority. He'll do it with a
Yeah,
brute majority.
the focus is on brute. They're all brutes.
So okay, so now there's two other stories because there's protests on campus in Punjab because of a sexual assault on Lahore campus.
Yeah. So
This is
there's
unrelated or it is related?
it's all related,
Okay,
because
okay.
when you have a government like this, all of the problems that exist in a country, they all get related somehow, and the point of convergence of all these problems is the lack of rule of law in Pakistan. So allegedly, there was a rape in a in the campus of this college in Pakistan. The college is owned by Mia Amir Mahmood. He is a very rich businessman, and he's also a politician. He's aligned with the ruling parties. He also owns a TV channel. So these
Sorry, is a college, what age of student goes to college?
So in Pakistan, we don't have the same naming conventions.
Yeah,
College can be like
high
upper
school.
high school to
Okay.
like basically it's a high school to like maybe bachelor's degrees. Pakistan
Okay.
used to have 2 years bachelor's degree, so it's called college. The name of the group is Punjab Colleges. That's what
Mm.
it's called. And
But
this
then they're
girl,
private colleges. They're
they're all
private.
private, but all education in Pakistan is private.
Okay.
The people who go to government schools, because the governance is so bad, people like only the poorest people go to the public schools, and public schools are so bad that you wouldn't want to go. A lot of people just like opt out of going to school altogether. That's why Pakistan has such bad illiteracy problem. So everyone tries to go to a private educational institution, private school, private college, private everything. One of them is Punjab College. Punjab College, even though it's private in the US, in Canada, if someone goes to a private school, you would think that they're rich and they're paying a lot of money, but that's not the case in Pakistan. If you're a middle class person, you have to send your children to a private institution, and then you pay like the fees are really high, but then you pay like 10, 15% of your salary just on your children's education, and that's acceptable because there's no governance. The government doesn't care. All of the money that goes to schools, that gets wasted, and people like to corruption. So Punjab College is owned by this rich guy who's aligned with the military, who's aligned with the government, and who owns a TV channel, who's friends with other TV channel owners. There was allegedly a rape during school hours in the basement of that school. There are kids who claim that they heard the screams of this girl, and there are like her friends who claim that they know the girl this happened to. There are people who claim that they have seen the girl afterwards lying unconscious. Uh, when this news spread, and it became viral on the internet, and this college tried to cover it up. But within a couple of days, the education minister of Punjab said that he's aware that a rape happened and that security camera footages were deleted. And that also went viral. People heard about it, people saw videos of it. Uh, but since this guy is so rich, immediately the Punjab government, the main Punjab government, whose chief minister is also unfortunately a woman who does not care about women's rights, she came on a press conference and said no rape has ever happened here. It's all lies. It's all disinformation. It's all propaganda. You know how like the Western liberals have given this disinformation narrative to fascist regimes all over the world, because everything is now disinformation. Everyone who is asking for their rights is based on disinformation. So they started saying that it's disinformation, and then they sent the cops in, and this was like really heavy-handed, like SWAT teams or some sort. They came in and the students who were asking for this, they started beating them up. They injured dozens of students. Like there's videos of kids, 14-year-old, 13-year-old, not even like older than 15, bleeding in front of the college, and the government doing this. And sadly, and as we have noticed, a lot of these human rights organizations in Pakistan, what we call human rights organizations, they have outed themselves as close to the Pakistani military and the Pakistani government, and they have not said a word about any of this. There hasn't been any independent investigation about what has happened at this college, if a girl was actually raped or not. The first person who raised alarm about this, who shared the video on social media, she was brought into this press conference. Her father was brought in, and she said that whatever I said, I didn't know, I was lying. And this is like so interesting if you look at the video of this press conference with Mariam Nawaz. So Mariam Nawaz, who's the chief minister of Punjab, is sitting on her side is this tiny girl who first raised alarm. And she says that I didn't see the rape happen. I didn't hear the screams, but I know the girl. I'm not the eyewitness, but the eyewitness is someone else. She shared it on the social media initially, and like I only heard it from the eyewitness. And Mariam Nawaz immediately shuts off her mic and says, "There is no eyewitness because this never happened." And then the press conference continues. And sadly, see, since for the past 2 years, since there has been this massive crackdown on media and this massive crackdown on free speech in Pakistan, no media, no journalist can really investigate this. Like all the journalists that are left now, because they have been purged slowly, one by one. Some have been abducted, like one has been killed, some have been jailed, some have left journalism altogether, some have been fired. So there is no one left in Pakistan to do the job, the real job that journalists are supposed to do real investigation. So this thing has been covered up. We do not know if there has been a rape or if there has not been a rape. All these students who like her like alleged victims, class fellows, they've been protesting, but we don't know anything about what happened, and it has all been swept under the rug. And this, like I said, it is connected to whatever is happening because the military has such a firm clasp on everything now. This guy is aligned to the military. If someone gets raped, this guy is not going to be, his college will not face any consequences. Nobody will get punished. And because it will be brushed under the rug, the actual perpetrators, the really bad guys, they will also go scot-free because if there's no case, there's no one to punish, right? And these guys would not never be punished.
But
And
they're
this is all
also
yeah.
they've also outlawed protests. It looks like they're shutting down internet
They have multiple
website.
times. Internet
Yeah.
shutdowns are really normal. The day that this happened, they did shut down internet. Today, I'm aware that in Lahore and certain cities of Pakistan, all educational institutions are closed so that the students cannot protest. Because also they've learned about Bangladesh. The
Mhm.
whole thing happened in Bangladesh because students started protesting. They're not going to risk that. They don't want students to protest, so they've shut everything down. Twitter has been blocked in Pakistan since February, since the elections, because
Oh.
they didn't want people to know about election results. So Twitter, no, like there's no access to Twitter. You have to use VPN. All these government ministers and Pakistani government that is using Twitter is using it using VPNs.
So, okay. What about Imran Khan's status?
Imran Khan is in jail. He has been in jail for a while. So uh 2 3 weeks ago, I think. Yes, when this constitutional amendment was about to be passed, PTI announced these massive protests, and they started happening. Like Islamabad was under lockdown. Then the government said that there's going to be an SEO summit. The SEO
Yeah,
summit
that's
was
right.
supposed to be held in Pakistan. So they asked the PTI to stop these protests. And did something really interesting also. They went to China, the Chinese embassy in Pakistan, and they said these PTI people are protesting because they want to sabotage the SEO summit. And then the Chinese reached out to the PTI and said, don't sabotage this event. This is our organization. Please don't do this. We have done nothing to you. And PTI was like, of course, we are not your enemies. We are not the enemies of China. So PTI at that moment called off the protests. And the government taking this opportunity, because everything that PTI used to do, the instructions came from Imran Khan. Some guy would go to the jail, meet Imran Khan, come back, pass down the instructions. And there were many cases in which, like, the people who were going to Imran Khan and members of his own party who would get instructions from Imran Khan, they'd come back and they'd give a completely different set of instructions. Because since, like, there's so much fascism in Pakistan, everyone who was weaker, who didn't have enough courage, who had like some skeletons in their closet, they were slightly compromised, even members of Imran Khan's party. So they could be bought off, they could be threatened. So instructions that were sometimes coming from Khan were not accurate. And then PTI, like Imran Khan and people who were close to him, tried to push these people out, and that happened. Now, during these protests, they decided that this system should not exist. There should be no instructions coming from Imran Khan. So they sent Imran Khan into solitary confinement. They're not allowing him to meet anyone. And he's in there. He cannot meet his sisters. He cannot meet because they don't want his sisters to get some instructions, even though they're not a politician. And then they did something even more crazy. They arrested his sisters under the charges of terrorism. Three of it, like I think two or three of his sisters are right now in jail. There's only one sister who's not in jail.
And
And
the
I think,
argument is the protests are terrorism, and
yeah,
so right.
yeah, the protests are terrorism. They're
But
terrorized. They
Imran Khan is not in jail for protests.
no,
He's in
he
jail over disclosure of merit,
no,
something.
that he has been absolved from that case. I don't actually know what case Imran Khan is, and I'm a journalist. I've been following all these things. I don't think there's any case left because all of the cases are over. He has been like declared like not guilty in all of his cases. I guess there might be some secret case that he's still in for, but I don't know which case he is in for because there was a corruption case. He's free for that, free in that. There was the espionage, the state secrets case for exposing the American conspiracy behind his ouster. He's not in jail for that. And there was like this watch case. Oh, there was this marriage case that he married his wife like sinfully of some sort, like illegally,
Before
because
the
like
divorce was complete with the first wife.
no, but divorce was complete before
Oh,
in Pakistan. There in under Islamic law, and this is not like a fully like agreed upon set of laws. If a woman gets divorced, she has to wait for 40 days to
oh,
remarry.
I
She was
see.
already divorced. She didn't wait for 40 days. Maybe she waited for
Okay.
39 days or something.
Mm,
And they put both him and his wife is in jail for that case. That I
I
know,
see.
for not marrying on time. Yeah, it is really sick. And when they were discussing this specific case in court, there's like under Islamic law and like it's like that's not strict and it's like very like disagreed upon thing. But they say that after you get divorced, you must wait for one period, one menstrual cycle to remarry so that you know that the child belongs to like which father. So her menstrual cycles were discussed in court. She maintained that I already had my period, but the other lawyer and the government and the military, all of them said, no, you did not have your period. Imagine that.
Interesting.
Imagine in a liberal democracy. Imagine like foreign, like American liberal feminist activist learning about this fact that this woman's periods that she claimed happened all these other men in a full court where everyone else was a man, there were no other women in this court, they all claimed that they knew what her
Better
period's
than
date
her.
was and she did not, and that is why they have sent this woman into jail. And I guess Imran Khan would also be in jail for one of these cases because he didn't marry on the accurate time.
On the right schedule.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
So
why
it's
he's in
like
jail.
really absurd. And um, I mean,
Yeah, if Franz
does
Kafka knew about this, he'd like go crazy.
so what's the like I guess there'll be a big protest, but they'll probably be able to pass this amendment.
They will be able to, I think so
Yeah.
too. There are some roadblocks. There's this far right party, Jamiyat Ulama Islam. It's
Mhm.
like party of Islamic scholars or mullahs, I can say. they disagree with some aspects of this constitutional amendment, and they have like a few important seats in the parliament that is stopping them from getting the 2/3 majority. But other than that, there is nothing. Even if protests happen, like for 2 years, the Pakistani people have been protesting. Their families have been attacked. There was this story on like Dropsite News recently about this activist who's in Australia. His brother was abducted, and they shared the whole recording of like his negotiations with the ISI about freeing his brother. And there's like countless stories like this. There are so many families who have been affected by that. The people who were supposed to protest, like when the protests happen, it's not just the first year leadership. There's local leadership, there's grassroots leadership, there's leadership at neighborhood level. All of these people have been affected. It's at an industrial scale. I saw one document, and this document was from last year. 10,000 people were arrested illegally and were not being given bail. That's 10,000 people, and there's like hundreds of women among them. And this was last year. This was May of 2023. I don't know how many there are now. We don't even have the data about what's happening in Pakistan. And it's really important to say here that all of this has been possible because the US has been backing this fascism in Pakistan. They have not just been backing this fascism in Pakistan, they have been encouraging. The domino effect that triggered all of this was the US. It was them who had instructed the Pakistani military to topple the democratically elected government. And all of this has been happening due to this Biden administration. And like for the past year, I cannot even like say about like many of these things because Biden administration is backing a genocide on the other hand. So when I say like the Biden administration has taken democracy away from me, I
Is that
cannot go
all?
back. I cannot
That's
go
it?
back. Yeah. So I feel like selfish, right? Like
Yeah.
because I just lost democracy. There are people in Gaza who have lost their whole families because of this, the arrogance of this administration of like Kamala Harris. When she laughs, I find it so repulsive. It's so disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you wonder whether Biden knows anything about what's going on, but like he's old and
Yeah.
demented, but like Kamala also you wonder whether she has any idea what's going on. Like
I
how
don't think she does
different.
because
Yeah.
I don't think they let her participate in any of the things.
Yeah.
I have my own conspiracy theory. I think it's all Blinken and his merry
Yeah, yeah,
gang of
I think so. Yeah.
idiots, but it's all them, and
But
they're all psychopaths.
yeah, we should go because there was one piece before we wrap up of the story because you know Imran Khan was in Russia when Russia started the war in Ukraine. And I think it was like this awkward moment because Imran Khan was like working with the Russians on a deal for wheat and oil and to
Yeah.
try to address the like through commodities. Like, you know, Imran Khan was doing all kinds of things that the Americans didn't like. And and the new government that overthrew him, they're doing all kinds of things that Imran Khan would never have agreed with. So in a sense, like there are ways that America's making good on its investment in overthrowing Imran Khan.
Yeah, America has really benefited from this because Imran Khan he was supposed to go to Russia on the day when this happened. So he consulted his military, he consulted his like foreign ministry people that should I go because it was on the same day, and they all said it's fine because our visit was already planned. You can go, you can discuss this, and he went. Uh, while military recommended him to go, to the Americans, they said that we didn't want him to go. We told him not to go because the military chief at that time, he's a big liar. He lied to Imran Khan, and then he went to Americans and he lied to them. After Imran Khan was toppled, they didn't buy any oil from Russia, while even India was buying oil from Russia. They pulled back from those deals, and instead they started selling shells to Ukraine through America. So these deals were these were not direct deals with Ukraine. This was like Pakistani military's deal with America. These shells would be shipped from Pakistan. They would go to the US. It was an American company. And then they would go into this large pile of 122 millimeter, 155 millimeter shells. And then they would go to Ukraine. This was the deal. And then they had like all these agreements about it. But then when Gaza war started happening, and this is something nobody has really investigated, and it's really important because Pakistan should never have been a part of this. If Pakistan was with under Imran Khan, it would never have been a part of it. Bless you. So it would never have happened. But what really happened was America started sending some of these shells, 122 millimeter, 155 millimeter shells to Israel. And the US has there was actually a shell shortage because Ukraine war was primarily based on artillery shell. It was like an industrial level thing. Like you constantly had to keep the artillery moving. It was like completely artillery. If you stop the artillery, the enemy would advance. So you had to keep the artillery going. You needed like thousands of shells to do that, to keep the artillery going round the clock. When the Israeli invasion started, Israel also needed these artillery shells. And now America had like this huge pile of artillery shells, and some of them went to Israel. So we do not know if Pakistani shells went to Israel, if they murdered babies or not. This is like a grand sin that Pakistan may have been a part of. We would never know.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean,
all
I
of this
just
America got from like by instigating this coup.
yeah. So it's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good. But this is a long fight, And
Yeah.
over the past 2 years, I have understood something, and I, at some level, always understood this, that there's this war is throughout, like all these
Yeah.
battles in different countries in the world. They're all connected.
Linked. Yeah.
We're all a part of this one grand thing.
Yeah.
And like it's happening in Pakistan, it's happening in Gaza, it's happening in the campuses all across the US and Canada and Europe.
Yeah.
It's all connected. There's
Yeah.
no disconnect between all of this. It's just one battle, big battle that we're all a part of.
Yeah. And I guess if it's one big battle, it's not going to be over fast.
No, it's never going to be over, but we live in it, and
Yeah.
that's like we have to choose what we do, and we have to choose how we live our lives, and that's what's important.
Yeah, man. As I always tell people at the end of the Gaza videos to hang in there. So hang
Yeah,
in there.
those people are the worst hit, and like in these times, it's like you can't even talk up. Like it
Yeah.
feels bad. You feel bad about like talking about your problems.
Whining about, a coup and a overthrow of a
Yeah,
country and the massive repression of yeah, it's
yeah,
just like those feel more routine somehow.
yeah, yeah.
Strange
We can
strange.
deal with it. Like our children still go to school.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Justin.
We'll talk again in a few months, probably.
Yeah.